Are there any products that are like kind of objectively not very good, but they've like just been branded in a cool way that are still existing?
I reckon a really good example is Apple. And
The brand, like, as in like my laptop Apple.
yeah, most people would have heard of Apple.
You don't know these kind of people that listen to this podcast.
But
They've just been asleep for 45 years.
But I think
Like Apple, the fruit. What? Hello, everyone. Today's podcast is about the science of being cool. And my guest is Adam Ferrier. He's a leading consumer psychologist and brand strategist. And I think you will enjoy this. Oh, you got an actual receipt. Oh, yeah. Let's crack into that.
Okay.
What have you got there on that actual receipt there?
So I don't normally keep receipts. So when you asked me along, I had put in my jeans, my hands in my jeans, and this is the only receipt I had.
It's like physical receipt.
Yeah, physical
but no
receipt.
one's got physical
No, I
receipts
know.
anymore.
It's a weird concept for a show to bring along your receipt.
No, but we mean like bring it along, like you can digitally. Like, you know, it's 2026. It's not George Costanza where it's like you open your wallet and then, oh, here we go. This is good.
Look how fucking big it is.
It's massive.
And it's from Mecca.
You were doing some
I
work
was
down there in
buying
Mecca.
my wife a 19th anniversary gift.
Fantastic.
And it was like last week. And I bought her a whole lot of different products. Don't ask me to investigate too
Well, that's
much
what I was going to say. So
soft, natural moisturizers, face creams, basics, things like that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You and I probably have similar experiences. Like, I don't know how much time you're spending at Mecca, but the times I go in is always for a similar reason, to buy my partner something. And I feel like those girls that work there, girls and guys, they're trained. If they see just like a man by himself walking in, a little bit confused, a little bit vulnerable, they pounce. They pounce on you immediately, and they're like, they're lovely, but my God, they can do God's work. You just explain the situation. You're like 19th anniversary, and they're like, all right, we'll figure something out.
They see margin, don't they?
They see
margin and profitability, and it's fascinating. You're absolutely right, but it's an amazing store. It's an amazing concept. I think that and Aesop are two brands that I really just look like they've controlled every single touch point. So I do really admire brands or things that can get scale and still stay completely true to what they are. As a marketer, it kind of gives me hope because normally when things get big, they kind of get bland and kind of die.
Yeah.
But Mecca is one of those brands that maintains it's kind of massive and huge, but it's still kind of, women seem to love it. If you take a box back to the agency, everybody seems to go berserk and wants to see it.
I was about to say those boxes and the bags. They're nice.
And it's all beautiful. It's all really nicely done.
It's a great store.
But this is not an advertorial for Mecca.
No, it's not. God, no. Do you have any other receipts, or this is the only physical receipt? Because that's a great one. How much did you spend in total, by the way?
Have a guess.
Just in case I ever get to 19 years and I need to know.
No, I'll seem like a cheapskate.
Can I say, what I reckon, like 185.
153 is a good guess. It's a lot for moisturiser.
But next, yeah.
You can get it for $4.95 from Coles.
Hey, I'd love to meet you as well. We've never met, and I've always wanted to chat to you because you're such an interesting guy with like an interesting backstory. And I'm sure you've spoken about it to death, but you've done studies into being cool and like what cool is, and that's kind of informed, I guess, your philosophy towards branding and marketing and how you go about things. But what I've always wanted to say to you, and you've probably heard this before or said this about yourself, do you think that researching cool is one of the least cool things you could ever do?
No. I used to think overall it's probably made me a little bit cooler.
Really?
Yeah. But it's coming from a pretty low base. But also understanding what makes somebody cool then allows you to practice those cool behaviours, even if it is a bit contrived and a bit shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if it's contrived. Because this is my opinion of cool. And you would have different opinions. It's purely what other people perceive you as. I don't think people are like, oh, it's an internal thing. It's like not care. It's like, no, other people have to deem you cool for you to be cool, right? So the act of you researching someone, I think, is not cool. But if people don't care that that's cool, that's not cool, and you then get all the good info from it, then you are cool because they're perceiving you to be cool.
That's right. And everybody cares. Everyone wants to talk about it. It's 30 years later. I redid the study a few years ago, and people are still fascinated about it. The other thing to build on what you just said is, the interesting thing is, what you said is half interesting, that it's the perception onto the person. But I think the interesting thing is, does everybody perceive the same qualities in other people as being cool or not. So that's what we set out to find. Do we all think the same thing? And we do. So cool. There are 5 factors that account for cool people versus not cool people.
What are the 5?
Their self-belief and confidence, their understated achievement, their defying convention, caring for others, and connectivity. The 2 interesting ones there are caring for others. So cool is normally kind of left-wing and slightly looking out for other people, and that's because their origins are cool, and most cool people were outside of society, so they weren't in society. They were on the edge, trying to fit in. So they're kind of sympathetic to the human condition.
Okay, yeah. But when did the first cool people emerge? That's the other thing, because it's like cool didn't always. I feel like in the 1600s, when people are like, toiling away, trying to day by day, aren't being like, oh my God, Adam's so cool over there.
In the 1600s, our emotional repertoire was much bigger than it is today. So we're much more demonstrative. So you look at we're emotionally much more labile. You meet an Elizabethan person today, they'll be deemed insane because they'll be so over the top.
I always think that the only people now, like, people with severe mental health issues on the tram ranting on the phone, and you're like, that would have been every day in the 1700s.
That's exactly right. So the people who have studied cool think it started with the African-American slaves who were persecuted and oppressed and put into chains and had everything stripped of them. But you could take away everything from the person except for their dignity, which they used to, and then they used to have a mask of a deadened affect. So, like a cool pose, which was, well, you can take everything from me except for who I am.
You can't take this.
You can't take this. And so that cool pose is the origins of cool. And so the second factor, which is understated achievement, is cool people have a sense of emotional regulation.
Yes.
So they're not overly demonstrative or flamboyant. They're cool.
They're chill. Yeah.
They're chill. And so that's when we say that person's cool, that person's cool.
Yeah, it's like there's a cool cat type, that energy.
Cool we're not saying that they're popular or they're wacky we're saying they're cool. And so there is a common meaning that is there.
Okay. Wow. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And then I guess as time evolves, like, I guess specificity changes, but those factors don't, right?
That's right.
So
and the cool's been appropriated. So it was for the people who are outside of society. So you think about Happy Days, for the people listening to this who are old enough to know what Happy Days was.
Happy Days, like the Fonz.
Yeah. So the Fonz.
He was the cool guy.
And he was outside of society. He lived in the room above the Cunningham's garage.
Yeah, true.
And he was different to all the others. So he was the cool guy.
There was some darkness there, but he never let on. He regulated it.
He regulated
it a lot. But then when he hit the jukebox, it came out a little bit. The rest of the time, regulating.
That's right. But he used to get by regulating his emotions. So everyone was scared of him, even though he was never in a fight, for example.
Yeah.
But then over time, cool's been appropriated, and it's now not for the people outside, but it's for the people at the top of society who we really admire. But it's still, those traits are still kind of the same.
Yeah, but they're just, I guess, they're just appropriating cool. I don't think people care if it's genuine or not, being cool.
They don't care if it's genuine.
Right. Whereas a lot of things,
it's all contrived.
A lot of things people are like, if you've got to be genuine, if you're a story,
I hate it.
People talk about it, but I don't think you have to be.
No, you don't have to be. Nothing is. Like nothing's authentic, and real is the other one that shits me.
Yeah,
like everything's real and nothing's authentic, so it doesn't get you anywhere.
Exactly right.
And so
So I'm a stand-up comedian, right? And so people are like, you got to be genuine and real. And I guess from the sense of like what you're performing, for you to perform it well, there has to be. But in the way you kind of like, I guess, present it, to me, it's all completely contrived. Well, it's all just like you're presenting it the way you want people to perceive you presenting it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the funniest thing about comedians is, I reckon the best thing about comedians is they're normally funny.
Normally.
I do love that. I love when you go to a comedian and they're funny. It's like, oh, fuck, they delivered. That's good. But
yeah, but for you to love that suggests that there's a lot that don't do that.
When comedians always say, a funny thing happened to me this morning.
Yeah.
And I still wonder, did it really happen? But
no, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. And that's not authentic.
But if it does, if it really did happen, you would see them like stopping, being like, I'm not fucking with you. This actually happened to me this morning. And then it would be really funny.
Even then, though.
Yeah.
Because they do that.
Yeah.
But it still didn't happen.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it still didn't happen. Sometimes you feel like this actually happened, and it's like it didn't happen. But if they do say it and then it feels like it is funny, but then it doesn't go anywhere, that means it did happen. They just didn't have time to write a proper joke about it.
And they're testing out.
Yeah, they're just being like, this guy said this to me, and you're like, well, that's pretty funny, and then it kind of ends, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe it did happen today.
But you know what? this authenticity thing is fascinating. Back to cool,
Yeah.
and back to brands. All brands are constructed. So
Yeah.
every single brand, and it has to have a backstory, and it has to be believable, it has to be motivating to the consumer,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily need to be authentic.
I don't know. I just think, yeah, it is interesting when people are like authenticity, and every brand on their website has a little like our story tab.
Yeah.
And I always love clicking on that, and they're like founded in blah, 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 blah. And I think the same thing. I'm like, they could have just made all this up. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know if brands do, but it would be funny just to completely create a fake brand.
It just needs to have the whiff of. It needs to have a whiff of truth. It needs to be true. If we buy into the emotional, to the imagery of it, we're very good at lying to ourselves. So we're very good at taking any kind of substantiation to that story, no matter how thin it is, and going along with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our rational thought kind of follows our emotions, and we kind of get the rational to kind of make sense of the emotional, if you know what I mean.
Totally. With when your approach to work with like a company or like whatever, maybe it's an organization or whatever, how much are you looking at like, is the product that they're delivering good, or are you looking at like, what are my options here to sell this?
It's a question I very rarely get asked, but I think about a lot. Everything's easier if a product's good. And
Yeah.
and that's all. And the two things aren't mutually exclusive. The better the actual thing and the better the marketing, then the better the whole ecosystem is of whatever it is. But if you've got a shit product, you can still do good marketing on top of it, and it will still possibly work. And if you've got a really good product and shit marketing, then it'll probably work anyway. But there's no harm in having both.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you'd have both. Are there any products that are like kind of objectively not very good, but they've like just been branded in a cool way that are still existing?
I reckon a really good example is Apple. And
the brand, like, as in like my laptop Apple.
yeah, most people would have heard of Apple.
Yeah, no, sorry, not to clarify. I was just confused because I'm like, I just thought they were doing great stuff.
That doesn't need explaining. People,
you don't know these kind of people that listen to this podcast.
but,
They've just been asleep for 45 years.
But I think
like Apple, the fruit, what?
the inbuilt obsolescence of the Apple phone, the fact whenever I drop it, it smashes.
Yeah.
The battery life.
Everything
fact that
about
all
it
the
sucks.
cords, the fact that I have to keep on changing the cords all
yeah.
the time. I
Now,
can't
then they
plug
got rid of the
headphones into
headphones.
it. There are so many issues with this thing.
Yeah.
It's so shit on so many levels, but it's beautiful and it's elegant, and to hold it feels great, and
It's sleek.
and it's all of that kind of stuff. So I always think of Apple as that's a shit product, but they've done it. Just I would never not have one.
Well, how have they done that? Because like I think about my laptop and I think about like a cool cafe, sitting in a cool cafe with the laptop open, drinking a coffee. I don't know what people are doing on these laptops in there, but they're not doing like, I guess they're doing emails, which you could do on seemingly any type of device, but they've somehow managed to imprint that image into my brain. And the thought of doing that with like a Dell laptop, I'm like, yuck.
Yeah, you wouldn't be creative with a Dell. And I think coming back to this whole concept of cool and brands that managed to become huge, but stay, for want of a better word, cool, is they maintain a relationship with the opinion leaders of that particular category. So I think Apple in particular spends a lot of time with the creative class and making sure it's embedded into Hollywood and embedded into the kind of top hat execs, embedded into screenwriters.
All that stuff.
And all of that stuff. So they work with the opinion leaders. They will never change. And then the rest of us just get ads or, and we also want to copy the opinion leaders. So people like you are setting the scene for mugs like me to kind of keep on using an Apple.
Yeah, I like that I'm setting the scene and you're the mug in that scenario. Do you know, once when I bought a laptop, I went into the Apple store, and this was when they first started taking the USB ports out of it. And I remember asking for a USB port, and the guy said, "We don't have it." And I said, "Why? I just want to plug my USB in." And he said, "Do you want to be on the right side of history or not?" This is what the genius in the blue shirt.
Well, you know who would have been proud of him.
Who?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he would have.
Steve would have gone. He would have been looking down, going, "This guy knows Apple."
Exactly.
Like the hubris.
I mean, can you imagine that?
But
that egotistical to say that. Be on the right. Like people are going to look back on me in years' time with my little USB dongle, being like, "Oh my god!"
At that moment in time,
how could he do that?
And so. Strong brands. This is something I like. I wrote a book called stop listening to the customer, try hearing your brand instead. And it's all about brands kind of having a very, very strong focal point on themselves and not being kind of hoodwinked by what the consumer wants.
And that's exactly that, though, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But everybody wants a dongle. Everybody wants to be able to plug their bloody headphones into, the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But Apple doesn't want you to do that. They want to tie you into an ecosystem of product with inbuilt obsolescence and weird opaque payment systems and all that kind of crap. That's not being consumer centric. That's the opposite of consumer centricity. But that's being brand centric. They know what their brand's about, and that's what they focus on.
And they've done it.
And then everybody kind of falls into line.
And you're just in this weird maze of whatever their products are doing. Payments are coming out whenever you need it. You need to buy another dongle to plug your headphones in.
That's right.
You got something in your pocket that screen cracks. You're like, oh, God damn it.
And at the risk of boring your listeners.
No, they'll be bored already. It's fine. Yeah. I don't know if they want to go deep on marketing stuff, but I want to, and that's all that matters, to be honest.
Okay. You can edit this out.
No. Keep this is all set. We're not editing this in any way. I love all of this that we're talking about here.
All right. So people don't need your brand; they need your category. So as humans, we don't need another brand in our lives. We just need the category. So if you're thirsty, you need a drink. If you're hungry, you need something to eat. If your car breaks down, you need a new car.
Yeah.
And so what happens is as soon as you have a trigger for the category, and a whole lot of brands go enter your head, and then you choose one of those brands there, right?
Yeah.
But the more you listen to the consumer, the more you're just listening to the category. So over time, what tends to happen is all the brands start saying the same thing, and they all start to homogenize.
Oh.
So, you look at the banking system, the big four banks, for example, they're all just different colours of bank. You look at all the cars, they all kind of start to merge together because we listen to the consumer, we give the consumer what they want, and then we become more and more like every other thing in the category. Brands like Apple, for some reason, buck the trend, and they're so strong about what their own brand stands for, they can kind of say, fuck you, consumer, we're going to do this.
Yeah, and the consumer has to follow.
And we go along with it.
But is it because they have the market share to do it?
Well, they don't have a market share. They're a small player in
the tech world.
In computers. There's, I don't know what % market share they have, but it would be pretty small compared to all the different types of computer you can buy.
I guess if you include phones as well, because I think we always think that everyone's got an iPhone, but you go to any other country and it's like no one's got iPhones. Yeah. Wow. That's very interesting. All I'm thinking of is like how I can apply that to my comedy career.
Do comedy out of marketing sciences. Go on.
That's some funny stuff. Like, how do I not? Because the equivalent would be like, don't listen to the customer. So I have to not listen to the audience. So when they're not laughing,
great.
Pursue that idea.
That's right. Well, that's what David Walsh does at Mona.
Oh, what? No, what? When people are not liking it, he goes further.
So the O, you go to Mona and you can test everything on the O. You say you like it, like that little device you get.
Yeah.
He used to. I don't know if he still does, but if anything got too popular, he'll take it out of the exhibit and he'll proudly say it's too popular. Hate it. Don't want to give that to them anymore.
Oh.
And it would be taken off the walls.
But that like vagina wall and the shit making thing, they've been there forever. I think
it could be a sales technique.
It could be a sales technique. Yeah. I mean, but he knows what he's doing down there.
He does know what he's doing. But you're right though, the vagina wall and the shit making machine.
Yeah. Also, if he kept taking the vagina wall out, you'd be like, "What are you doing with the vagina wall, man? This is creepy. I don't support that."
My son came up to me the other day with one of those soaps and started. He's 8. And he was very excited when he saw that one of those vagina soaps.
Oh God. I wanted to talk as well to you. So you started working. You were working in prisons as well, kind of before you moved into the marketing world. What did like doing psychology? What did that teach you about human interaction?
So my first job out of uni was working in the prison system for a few years. And I went to private practice, writing court reports. What it really taught me was we're all just trying to get by. So it really taught me about we're all just trying to get by on the skills that we have to be a human, and nobody, or 99.9999% of us, are not bad people. We're just fucked up in some particular way.
Yeah. I like to think you're going into the prisons to teach the 5 philosophies of being cool. Everyone's like, I don't think this is going to help these guys.
There was a guy who was in there for a double murder, and he had a narcissistic personality disorder, but he also played the guitar beautifully. I still remember him very well. He was except for the double murder bit, he was a very cool guy, and all the other...
Really?
And there's this kind of totem pole of popularity that
in
happens
the prison
in the
system.
prison system. old school bank robbers, non-drug affected bank robbers were at the top of the tree.
Oh, they're classy guys, yeah. But they're not really around anymore.
Nah.
They'll be like wire fraud type guys, but they're not going to be at the top of the...
That's right.
They're going to be at the bottom.
They'll be in their own special prison.
Yeah, it's all been inverted now. Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting that the cool things still cut through even in the prison. Is there any we had Russell Howcroft on this show last year, and we were talking about marketing stuff, and I found it quite fascinating because I was interested in like the future of where we're going with marketing, and I don't know if you guys would have different opinions. His big takeaway was like, obviously things are changing, but like he was like, good writing will still kind of cut through, maybe more of the authenticity type thing. So if you have good writing, good marketing ideas will still cut through and find a home. Do you agree, or are you like flip it upside down? It's all about manipulating people's ideas.
There's a Daniel Kahneman, a psychologist, won the Nobel Prize for economics, and he developed this whole school called behavioral economics. And his kind of main thing was the brain has two ways of thinking. System one, fast, intuitive, eager to please, processes 11 billion bits of information a second, largely emotional. Jesus. What emotion am I feeling now?
Yeah. Anger.
That was meant to be anger.
Oh, sorry,
it was weird, but it wasn't really an emotion.
I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, I think anger or really happy.
But whereas system two is slow, sequential, effortful, only processes about 40 bits of information a second. So what's 13 times 14?
So we're looking at 100 and what is 13 times 14? It's my math. What's 12? 144 plus. Okay.
So to work that out, we've definitely lost your fucking listeners.
No, they would also be doing it now. But the pressure of you looking at me...
But they won't be doing it. You know why they won't be doing it?
Why?
Because they don't give a fuck. And they won't give a fuck. They'll go, oh, just wait. He's trying to make a point. But they're not going to be trying to work it out in their head because it takes effort.
It does take effort.
And that effort is your cognitive load. And then if you need to use energy in your brain, then you have to need consume energy. So we're hardwired to think as system one. We're hardwired to think as little as possible about everything. So we just kind of go with the flow. Okay. And so that's how marketing works. We make things super easy for you to believe in something at an emotional level, and then you can just go along with it. And so that's the big unlock in terms of behavioral economics, and it's massive. And it's that kind of thinking has infiltrated business and law and everything. So barristers use it. So if gloves don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah.
So because it's got cognitive fluency, so it's easier to process that information. So therefore, you go along with it.
So it's like you're just like adding things. I guess
you make something easier to process. You don't have to put effort into it. The brain likes things that are easy to process. So we don't have to think, because therefore we don't have to consume energy to use energy. And so therefore we live longer if we just go with the flow.
You know, what's the guy that did Darian Brown did the push?
All of that shit.
Yeah, and it's you just kind of not trick people, but get people to go along with things step by step, and before you know it, you can get them to break a moral boundary that maybe they wouldn't have previously, right?
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of heuristics and way the brains work and make these errors in a predictable kind of way that marketers can use, or people who want to influence other people for anything, that you can do those things.
Yeah,
so that's what it was, system one and system two. Where is marketing heading?
Yeah.
System three.
Oh, what's this?
So system three is AI.
And you
imagine, so now what insurance do I buy? Who the fuck?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, you just go with the yellow one.
Yeah.
But now you can type in, or you can say, what insurance company should I do? I'm blah, 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 blah. And it'll process all of the information and give you a rational thing. So imagine that is stuck inside your head, which soon it will be.
You think they'll stick it in our head?
Well, I do. Well, Neuralink and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like someone's got to stop us before we get there, don't we?
I don't think it'll be that size. I reckon.
Well, if it breaks like that one as well, we're in trouble as well.
That's true. But I reckon basically we're using this to process a lot of information.
Yeah.
And marketers are now trying to appeal to system three. So they're trying to appeal to the large language models and so forth and make sure that their brand appears positively in that space. So when I type in what insurance company do I use, they know that that's playing a very, very big role in the purchase decision.
Of course.
So where do I see marketing heading? I see it heading into that world a lot more than it currently is.
So
So good copywriting, yes, but good copywriting that appeals to the LLMs, not necessarily to the human.
Okay, that is like the idea of humanity is like, I don't know if it's disappearing. I mean, it's like, well, you've studied like behavioral sciences, right? But then it's like we're not even going to be trying to play into that anymore to like sell things or like influence people's opinions. We're going to try to play into like a data set that they are already using to kind of the ease of their life, I guess.
We're already cyborgs, right, to a certain degree.
We are not cyborgs.
We kind of are cyborgs. Like, do you carry a phone around with you?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Imagine that phone was just like strapped onto you there, or
sometimes
or glued on.
Make
right?
things easier, right?
Yeah, but so we're using a lot of tech a lot of the time. You've got your bloody computer in front of you. We're on we're part machinery, and I think this is kind of. I think what's happening with the LLMs now, that it's going to change things to such a degree. It's going to help us think through so many of life's problems all day and every day that we're, for all intents and purposes, we're cyborgs. The reason why I say put it in your head is because as soon as it's in your head, like what Elon Musk is doing at Neuralink and stuff like that, it's an easier thing to understand what I'm saying. But because it's external, you like to think, oh, it's just there, but it's not. It's in here. So we're there. So it's helping us. It's helping us make decisions. So it's already here. It's not like saying, "Oh, fuck, this is in the future." We're there.
No, but getting it. I mean, it says something pretty serious if you get it kind of inserted into your brain. The problem is it will go back to the cool thing as well. If like cool people do it, then we'll just do it. If like George Clooney, I don't know if he's cool. I don't know if it's just like some Instagram model does it. I guess I'll end up doing it. And then just get a drill into the back of my head, and then it's all over.
But whether that's inserted into the head or not, they're already, and you are already using the LLMs to make decisions and to have conversations and to work out how you should act with certain people and what kind of advice you should have or what kind of things you should buy. You're doing it already all through the LLMs anyway.
So how does that make you feel about the industry that you got into, which probably wasn't that when you started?
I don't know. I still find it fascinating and interesting. I'm really into brands. I really love the idea of brands being able to control consumer behavior, and I love the power they have on us. I love the fact that they can make you choose one thing over another. I also love the fact that you can create a movement and get a whole lot of people aligned around a political party or around a cause for good. So I'm not saying that they're evil. What you use a brand for might be evil, but the idea of the brand is not.
Yeah,
not
it's like
evil.
open market. It's like if you can do a good thing, you can get the results.
That's right. And I also am fascinated by human behavior. So I reckon what all of this stuff is doing is, for me, is helping me. There's a whole new things I've got to learn and a whole new world I have to understand. So it's keeping me excited.
Totally. But what about, will it eventually eradicate the role of the brand?
No.
Everything will come down to such practicality and ease of like what you use it for.
So Wall-E is a really good movie. And most movies set in science fiction, in the future, everybody's homogenized. So most views of the future are we're all wearing spandex, we're all walking in unison. We've all got the same weird haircut. And we all speak in a deadened voice. And you know, back to that affect thing.
Yeah.
Emotions are even more and more regulated. Like there's even less tolerance.
They're the coolest people of all time living in the future.
They are, though. Except they've all got spandex with the pants.
It doesn't matter. They're cool.
No,
That's what cool looks like.
It's harder to defy convention, maybe.
Yeah, true.
So I reckon there is a homogenizing force on culture that freaks me out, and I reckon strong brands, a bit like Mecca, fight against that homogenization and stand for something kind of cool in the world. So in my fucked up narrative, which is all completely self-serving because I'm in the business of building brands.
Totally, but you're also very qualified to discuss
I see brands as kind of beacons of hope. Like Liquid Death is a new water brand in the States.
Yeah, like these jocks drinking water finally because it's called Liquid Death.
It's called Liquid Death. I mean, how ridiculous.
It's the funniest thing
parody, isn't it?
It's so funny. Yeah. These podcast bros are just there cracking at Liquid Death. They haven't drunk water since they were 12 years old. Finally, they can because it's like manly and tough.
Yeah, where's the authenticity in that?
Well, there's no authenticity, but it works, doesn't it?
It's a complete construction, a complete marketing construction. And so, and I love it. And they're selling more water and keeping people healthy.
I guess it is a net positive to the world.
It is. And then they're in aluminium cans and not plastic bottles and so on.
And they look kind of like a beer or something like that. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think it's also very funny. Like it is.
Oh, it's so funny.
But obviously someone was able to analyze like that movement of men and whatever, their tendencies towards health and what they wanted to do, and worked out that if you just called water, which is just water, like if it's called Mount Franklin or like whatever, people aren't going to drink it. But if you call it liquid death and put a skull on it,
I remember.
Well, it's like it's a big. So I would have laughed if you had come to me with that idea. I would have laughed, and I'd be like, "You are seeing the worst in people if you think that's a punchline that's going to work." But it has worked like crazy.
I remember like 20 or 30 years ago, Henry Rollins was straight edge. Does that even? Do you know what
Henry Rollins? Yeah, I know Henry Rollins. Yeah,
straight edge and stuff. Like he was like hardcore
punk. Yeah, he's a punk. Yeah, the punk
he
guy.
Was straight, so complete clean living.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do drugs, and then he was there. He was like a lead indicator to me. And then suddenly everyone is doing this kind of. So I'd say liquid death is kind of straight edge.
It's a straight edge punk movement. Yeah. What about, are there any brands that you see, like, I'm fascinated, like, so the World Cup is coming up, the Football World Cup, and, FIFA is like, and it's like
revolting.
It's like the most corrupt, morally bankrupt organization, but they're just in charge of like this product that everyone is just like, it's the thing that ties the world together, right? How did they, seemingly to me, they don't care about branding because they just are like, we've got this product that no one cares about, so we're just going to do it. There's human rights violations, there's clear corruption about where money is going or whatever. But they put on this World Cup that's it's the biggest thing every year or every 4 years. Like it's all people care about and they talk about. What are FIFA doing in regards to their brand, or what would you do if you got the FIFA account? If they even
if we got
dishing it out.
I don't know. It depends what the brief was. If a brief was for the FIFA account was to improve
just perception
FIFA's brand, then I would get rid of that. That's that CEO who's friends with Trump.
Yeah.
And but I don't think that would be the brand. The brand would be, how do I get more people engaged with soccer or football? And I think on that account, they're doing very well. So I don't think the corporate brand, FIFA, has much relationship to do with the consumer-facing brand, which is
getting
football.
more people. No, but again, the football thing masks all the other stuff going on.
No,
and I'm like,
really.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. So I think if you're a kid growing up playing football, you've got so many interactions and touch points of how cool football is. A, it's enjoyable. B, you're with your mates. C, you're playing sport. You're out there, like you've got so many touch points of the world of football. You know that there's this corrupt governing body looking after it, but you don't really give a shit because you love football.
Yeah.
So I don't think the corporate brand, no matter how shit it is, infiltrates that much into the actual love of the actual sport.
Totally.
A bit like the AFL. So, they can, your views on the AFL as a governing body can come and go. And even though AFL is called the same thing as the actual sport, I don't think your views on the AFL impact that much on your views on whether you like.
But I do think you do see there is some pushback, like in regards to like the AFL's relationship with sports gambling, where some people are starting to be like, hey, I don't know if that's the game I support. But you are right. The product is so good. It's not going to stop me from watching my football team play every weekend. I'll just be a bit like,
And
I wish they didn't do that.
And then with the sport of with the brand of football, it's soccer, it's so massive. And the brand of FIFA is, by comparison, teeny, even though it's a big brand in itself.
Okay, what about like so Live Golf, right? Which is a kind of like a fascinating case study, which does look like it's about to now just go tits up.
Yeah.
I feel like they never could, like there's been other successful like Saudi money sports washing things. And they never, I think they just branded, I don't know how much, how into it you are or how much you observed
I know a
of
bit about it.
But it just seems like they branded it incorrectly, and then they forgot that people actually liked the other stuff. Like people kind of forgot about the money.
I reckon they chose the wrong. I reckon they put so much of their brand into Greg Norman, and I reckon secretly no one likes Greg Norman.
Yeah, no one likes Greg Norman.
And I don't
unless he wants to be on this podcast.
But you don't let him on.
Norman. No, I'd have him on.
You would?
Yeah,
you'd have him on. He would get listeners.
He would get listeners.
But I bet your listeners don't like him.
Yeah, but that's not. like that, I think people would still be up
Listen.
for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. I like watching footage of him from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a footage of him shirtless on the beach, and he's got a great rig. For
Yeah.
65-year-old.
I don't know. I don't think he's covered himself in glory. So I reckon Liv kind of put too much of their brand into him, and then I don't think as well. I don't like this whole concept of authenticity. But there was no grassroots story. There was no story around the fans wanting this. So it kind of always just felt like it was pushed onto people. And then one of the things I learned as a psychologist, my supervisor used to always say to me, never get more excited about the prospect of change than your client or your patient. Yeah. So if you get really you're going to change, they will form reactants to that and they won't change. So the psychologist's role is kind of having to lead from behind a little bit. And when he got Greg Norman going out there, this is going to be the best thing ever, everyone's kind of going, oh, hang on. And it's kind of almost pushed them back into their own kind of view of golf, I think maybe.
I think so. And I also think I think they underestimated what the people that consume golf care about. And I think what they don't care about is like the players getting more money, because that was kind of like their big push, being a lot of the players were like, well, we don't get our equal share or whatever on their tour or whatever it is. So Liv were like, you're going to get more money and it's going to be good for the players and they're going to be paid what they're worth. Yeah. But everyone was like, what do I fucking care if they were getting 20 million before and now they're getting 80 million? They're still getting, like, I'm not being like, God damn it, I wish this sports person I like was earning another 20 million a year.
Yeah, no, that's true. I also don't think they care about DJs being on the fairway. Like, they don't care about...
Oh, yeah, they don't care about golf stuff,
You don't want to have a party on a par 5.
Well, I guess some people like that though. Like, I don't know.
And if you do, you don't want to watch a party on a par 5.
Exactly.
It doesn't make for better.
It doesn't make for
TV.
a better product. Yeah, exactly. For a TV product. Yeah. But anyway, so it's an incredible failure because the Saudis have pulled. Incredible. They lost $5 billion. They were losing $5 billion a year.
Yeah, that's right.
And now they're pulling the money for. I wonder if it'll be studied. I guess it will be studied for years and years and years to come. Of like, what a disaster. Yeah. Not that the Saudis are going to care too much.
No. They'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess. Thanks for coming in, by the way. It was fun to chat to you, and I'd love to chat to you again sometime. What do you think? You study people, and you see what we do and how we interact now. Is there something that we do now that future generations? Well, I guess they're going to be cyborgs. Are going to look back at us and be like, I can't believe they did that. Like, is there something we do now that you kind of use in a branding perspective that you think people will look back in the future and be like, God, what were they thinking?
I do like that question. I think I think how we treat animals is one thing where we're just getting more and more sophisticated, where we realise how similar we are to other species. I think they'll be going, oh, wow, they did that. I think there's going to be a lot more attention there. I reckon we're I reckon maybe even letting our children have unregulated access to technology. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting what happens there if we can find a business model or the right education or the right way to get the message across about the harm that technology can do in those, especially in those formative years. Yeah. But there needs to be a business model behind safe use of technology, and that's hard. So if there's not a business model behind it, then if there's no money to be made in that, then it's going to be hard.
Just going to be running. If there's more money to be made in your kids picking up the screen and doing something, that's what's going to happen.
But it'll be nice that everyone in 100 years' time went, oh my God, that 20-year period where everyone has unfettered access to technology as they're growing up. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it'll be like the smoking ads.
Yeah.
Like, how were they? Those idiots, what were they doing?
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, that'll do.
I mean, they're pretty good answers. Do you think, by the way, before I let you go, the cups that say #dad?
Were they for me? Are you a dad?
I'm not a dad, but I sometimes have dad energy. But where would they rank on the cool chart?
Self-belief and confidence high. Defying convention high.
Yeah, in this sense of like
understated achievement. Yeah, high. Caring for others, they're empathic, high. Connectivity. Yeah, they're good.
They're cool.
They're cool.
Yeah, I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah.
That rules. Thanks so much for coming in, mate. This has been awesome.
Good on you.
Perfect.
Cheers. I've enjoyed it.
That was Adam Ferrier, and we both wore green The exact same type of green. We should have checked before the episode. But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. Next week, I'm going to be talking about late in life career changes, which I don't know anything about, but I often find it quite interesting. My guest is comedian Lizzie Hu, who's very funny and very nice. I'll see you then.